Hey everyone, I'm Vicky271. Um, Today I will be reading you a fanfiction I have written for fanfiction.com, .net and deviantart.com. If you would rather read the fanfiction and listen to the videos and the actual me speaking and reading it off the computer, then you can do that. The description will have the links. So, anyway, like I've said, this video is going to be me reading my story out loud. I noticed that a lot of people didn't have, Chelsea slash Vaughn stories using videos with sprites and backgrounds and stuff. It was mostly Claire and Greg, Claire and, Cliff and all that. This is because they're very hard to find, and actually I think that they aren't available online. I don't think anyone has really taken the time to rip it because ripping it is hard. Trust me, I've tried. And I don't go there and again because I don't really like doing it. So anyway, another reason is because a lot of people aren't very experienced with the computer and they don't want to take the time to learn it and la di. It would take a really long time, right? So I thought what I would do is I would read my fanfiction off the computer. I have 7 chapters so far at this moment, and I am making more. A lot of people have been going to, actually, to be specific, a couple people have been going on and on about how my cliffhangers are very, very annoying because there are lots. I like cliffhangers because it keeps you reading. So anyway, the first chapter on fanfiction.net, which is where I'm reading this from, if I were to suggest where to go here because it's well organized and you can just if you're on chapter 5 and you want to reread chapter 2, you can go right to chapter 2. You don't have to click a link or anything. So the first chapter or the first section is a note to readers. So I'll read it, but I'll also add sometimes maybe a bit of an explanation. So here we go. First of all, thank you for taking the time to read my story that I put sweat and blood into. I thought I'd start out by listing some of the characters and giving you all the information. Chelsea. So most stories I've read, Chelsea is very outgoing and a bit of an annoyance. In this story, she will be a little quiet and more mature. But she has a hint of outgoingness. And in brackets, LOL. Yeah. When she becomes friends with other people, she gets very loud and friendly. But she doesn't open up to people much. Oh yeah, one more thing, I stutter sometimes because I have kind of a problem with reading, but I like to read, so yeah. It shouldn't bug you much if you don't mind. So Vaughn. He's normal Vaughn, nothing's changed here, except he's got a bit more of a temper. And Chelsea has a bit of a temper too, which I forgot to add. Sometimes when she gets into arguments, her temper will start. But there's a reason for that, and it has been included in the story so far, so you will find out. Sabrina, Alyssa, and Julia. 3 of Chelsea's best friends. Sabrina is the first girl that Chelsea will befriend, considering they are very similar in their personality. When I mean befriend, I mean become best friends. Because in the story she becomes friends with Julia and then Sabrina, but she becomes best friends with Sabrina and then Julia. So when I mean befriend, I mean best friends. Then she will befriend Julia, because she's Vaughn's cousin. And because, if you're someone's cousin and you have, a relationship or the story, you're supposed to become, together or whatever, usually it's the cousin, so usually it's, someone who's, closely related, you'll become really good friends with them. So, Mirabelle, Julia, all that. So I'm just going to move my laptop a little bit. Alright, so then Alyssa, I chose Alyssa because she isn't mentioned much in other stories. Might as well add some uniqueness into the story. Oh yeah, and another story I'm writing with my friend, actually, we're adding Lily into it, so that should work. Last character, Ellie. Ellie is a past Harvest Moon character. For those who have never played Harvest Moon, More Friends of Mineral Town, or Harvest Moon, Friends of Mineral Town, she is a nurse. And in this game, she will be married to Dr. Trent, who is a Mineral Town doctor. And also in Island of Happiness and Sunshine Islands, he goes in between. I think he comes during the summer or spring or both. Well, he comes for 2 or 3 seasons, and he's basically just around town. In Mineral Town, Friends of Mineral Town, which is the boys' version, he is your rival for Ellie. Trust me, I've married Ellie. So on fanfiction.net, I had a short summary because you're only allowed a certain amount of words. But then in this chat part, I had like a bigger summary, which is a lot better, so I will read it. On a small island, in the middle of nowhere, a small village cries for help, but no one can hear their plea. Chelsea didn't know the past of Sunshine Islands. That is, until the day the islands cried out. Now, instructed to collect the many sunstones by performing different tests, Chelsea must raise her own farm. She must grow crops, raise animals, and improve her experience. Chelsea soon finds herself falling in love with Vaughn, the island's animal trader, who doesn't even know what the word emotion means, except for quick temper, of course. In a story of love, betrayal, and adventure, Chelsea finds herself in an epic battle against Mother Nature herself, in a desperate attempt to free this island from sinking forever. This part, the last part, when she's actually when she's actually trying to save the island, actually doesn't come until chapter 7. But that's because like the first couple chapters, or the first 6 chapters, are focused kind of on like the tension and everything. Because if you notice, anyone who's played Sunshine Islands will notice the first heart event is kind of like, I wouldn't see Vaughn kind of doing that, like I would, but like not then. Like I think things would have happened before then. So yeah. So like the summary, then read the story or listen to the story. I'm really sorry if my writing style is bad. I thought I'd apologize in advance. I'm also going to read the disclaimer on this video because I don't really like repeating myself. So yeah, so the disclaimer is, I don't own any of these characters in my story, nor do I claim to own them. So that's basically kind of like the introduction. So the next video will be on like, I'll read the first chapter. Of course, I'll introduce it kind of. So anyway, I hope you will follow. If you don't want to follow or read, that's okay. If you don't want to follow or read anything, that's alright as well. You can check out my other videos. So anyway, yeah,